respected members of the management, the headmaster, the other dignitaries on the stage, off the stage, distinguished guests, teachers, dear parents, my fellow alumni, and most importantly, my dear students. Good evening to all of you. Some institutions produce students. Great institutions produce leaders. MCC has been producing leaders for 191 years. Let's give a big round of applause. Therefore, standing before you today, it's not just an honor, it's an emotion for me. There's an old saying, wherever life takes us, there are two places that always remain special to you. One is your home, the other is your school. Today, I feel I have come home. I have attended many functions and stood on many stages over the years, but this stage is special because when I look around in the campus, I do not merely see classrooms and buildings, I see memories. I hear the school bell ringing again. I remember the teachers who shaped us. I remember friends with whom I studied, played, and laughed in the school. I remember being a student, sitting exactly like what you are doing today in functions. So, this evening, I am not here merely as a chief guest, I am here as a grateful alumnus of MCC. Dear students, you are studying in an extraordinary institution. Just think about the number 191. This school existed long before any of us were born. It has seen generations pass through its classrooms and corridors. It has witnessed enormous changes in our country as well as the world. Modes of transport has changed, communication has changed, technology has changed, the nature of careers have changed. Even the way students copy their homework has changed. Previously they used to copy from one another, now they are copying from AI tool. But through all these changes, something fundamental has remained constant. The purpose of education, that has remained constant. To expand our mind, to build character, to create this opportunity, and to prepare young people to make meaningful contribution to society. Thousands of students have walked through the corridors of this institution. They have gone on to become teachers, doctors, engineers, scientists, entrepreneurs, administrators. Even a chief minister has come out of this institution. We are all very proud. A great musician, a great tennis player. So many celebrities have come out of this school. Each of them have carried something of MCC with them. That is the true meaning of legacy. Buildings make a campus, but values make an institution. And values can survive for centuries. Values do not change. When I think about my own school days, what I remember, as soon as I came in, the first thing I asked HM sir to take me is to my hostel. There I took photo where my cubicle was. And fortunately, Mr. Jefferson also came along and we took photo. I still remember, he was our warden when I studied 11th standard. And sir used to come every morning at I think 5:30 a.m. or something and wake us all up. And used to call all of us as Raja. I still remember being called as Raja by our Jefferson sir. Those are all evergreen memories for me. When I was a student here, that was 1984 to 86, this Miller statue was inaugurated, which was declared open, it was the 150th year when the Honorable Prime Minister of this country, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, came. We were all very proud that the Prime Minister of this country came and wished us for our 150th year. I'm sure for the 200th year celebration also, we can bring the Prime Minister of the country at that time. Now, I do not remember, every mark I scored, every examination question, but I remember my teachers, whether it's Mr. Jefferson or Mr. Jayaraman, Mr. Qatar Singh, Mr. Sheshadri, many of them are not there in the world today. I still remember their services. I remember my classmates. I remember the excitement. Some things in education never change, but with the benefit of time, we begin to understand something we could not appreciate fully as children. A teacher does far more than teach a subject. A teacher may say one encouraging sentence to a student and forget it. But for that student, they will remember it for the next 50 years. A good teacher explains, a very good teacher demonstrates, but a great teacher makes a student believe, I can do it. To all the teachers present here today, I would therefore like to say thank you. Thank you to all the teachers. Let's give a big round of applause. But for the teachers, doctors save lives, engineers build bridges, scientists make discoveries, but teachers create those doctors, engineers, and scientists. No profession can exist without the teacher. So let's give a big round of applause to all our teachers. So at this juncture, I would like to announce Sekar Sandhya Scholarship Endowment of Rs 5 lakhs to our students of MCC on our behalf. Please accept our endowment, sir. Thank you. This shall go to meritorious but needy students of MCC. To the students here, my dear students, many of you are probably thinking about your future. What course can I do? Which college should I join? What kind of career should I choose? Will I get a great job? These are all natural questions. But I want you to start thinking about a bigger question. What kind of person will I become? Because your profession is just only one part of your life. You may become a brilliant engineer or a doctor or an entrepreneur. But if you are not honest, if you are not compassionate, if you are not responsible, then your education is incomplete. So my first message to you is, education should not merely help you make a living, it should help you make a life. Dream big. There is no tax on dreams. So you might as well dream very big. But remember, dreams are free, but achievement is not. Achievement has a price. The price is hard work, discipline, persistence, patience, and consistency. Dr. Abdul Kalam constantly encouraged young people to dream. His message was that dreams must ultimately become thoughts, and those thoughts must become actions. That last word is important, action, right? A dream without action can remain only a wish. So dream, but then do get up and work for that dream. Let me give you a small story of a sculptor. A man once saw a sculptor working on a beautiful statue. He asked him, how do you create something so magnificent from an ordinary piece of stone? You know what the sculptor said? The statue was already inside that stone. I just simply removed the pieces which did not belong. There is a lesson in that story. In each of you, students, there's enormous potential. Your job as a sculptor is to remove the unnecessary parts, that which prevents you from reaching that potential. Remove. What do you remove? Remove fear. Remove laziness. Remove self-doubt. Remove the habit of saying, I cannot. Replace it with, I may not know how yet, but I can learn. That word yet is a very strong word. So you need to have a positive attitude towards your life so you can be the sculptor which can bring out the great statue within you. Please do not be afraid of failure. All successful people have failed. An examination may not go well, you may lose a competition, you may not get admission in your first choice institution. A business idea might fail. None of these defines you. Failure is not the end of the road. It's like a road signboard which says, try another route. There's a wonderful line worth remembering. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. If you never fail at anything, perhaps you are not attempting to do anything difficult. And for the future engineers here, when you write code, if it works for the first time, then there's something wrong. So you will always see that doesn't work, and eventually it will work. So failure, don't be worried about failures. You are growing up at an important phase of life, at an exciting time. You might have already known about AI, robotics, biotech, quantum computing. So many new technologies are coming. The next 20 years will transform the world more dramatically than what we had imagined. Many of the jobs you will do will not exist by the time you graduate. That means education can no longer simply be memorizing and vomiting. Information is everywhere. A mobile phone can access more information than what a great library was doing. Your advantage will not come from the facts, knowing facts. It will come from your ability to ask good questions, think critically, and solve difficult problems, and continue learning throughout your life. Your degree, when you finish your college, may get you a first opportunity, but your ability to learn will create the next 10 opportunities. I also want to mention about innovation here. When you see a problem, do not complain about it. You ask, can I solve it? That's where innovation begins. Somebody looked at transportation and came up with different modes of transportation. Somebody looked at communication, came up with cell phone. Every innovation begins with somebody refusing to accept the status quo. So that's how it has always been done. You should always think, how can I become an entrepreneur in life? Instead of saying I want to become a CEO, you should say there is a problem, how can I solve it? Your education makes you employable, but your innovation can make others also employable. And coming to books, let me urge you to develop one simple habit. Read, not because there's an examination tomorrow. Read because you are curious. Read biographies, read history, science, literature, newspapers. Read about people with whom you disagree. A textbook may help you pass an examination, but reading widely helps you understand the world. And perhaps more importantly, it teaches you that every complicated problem has more than one perspective. Many of you are here with friends, so I want to talk about your friends also. Choose friends very carefully. Choose friends who can challenge you. Choose friends who can encourage you. Choose friends who are happy when you succeed. There's an old African proverb. It says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. So you need to have friends. Now your classmates may not be your competitors, they are your collaborators, right? Your future business partner may be sitting next to you. And one last point I want to mention to the students here, it's about integrity. You need to protect your integrity. Marks matter, skill matter, achievements matter, but character matters much more than all of this. It can take decades to build a reputation and only minutes to destroy one, especially in this age of social media. Your reputation can be destroyed in minutes. So you got to be careful. Do not cheat because nobody is watching. Do not take a shortcut simply because it is available. Do the right thing because you are watching yourself. Remember, knowledge can give you capability, but character gives you credibility. Technology changes probably every 3 months, but values don't change. That's my main message to the students. I see many of the parents are also here. Want to give a small message to the parents. Your children are growing up today in a world which is very different from the one which you grew up. Please give them the guidance. Please also give them the room for them to grow on their own, to discover themselves. Your child does not necessarily have to fulfill the dream that you have once had for yourself. Sometimes the greatest gift the parents can give children is the confidence to pursue their own strengths and dreams. Celebrate their successes, but be supportive, especially when they fail. Children often need encouragement more than criticism. Never stop learning, my dear students. Never be afraid to fail and never compromise on your values. These are the 3 main points which I wanted to mention. Before I close, I want to leave you with one final thought. 20 or 30 years from now, many of you would have traveled all across India and perhaps across the world. You may become, as I mentioned earlier, doctors, engineers, researchers, entrepreneurs, civil servants, leaders, etc. You may accumulate qualifications. You may achieve professional success. But when somebody asks you, which school did you go to? I hope there will always a pride in you to say, I am an MCCN, because you will not be merely naming your school. You will be proud. You will be identifying yourself as an MCCN with a legacy of nearly 2 centuries. So, my dear students, dream without fear, learn without limits, work without excuses, innovate without hesitation, serve without selfishness. That's a student from MCC. You enter the great school as a student, you leave it as an alumnus, but if the school has really, truly touched your life, you remain as a student of MCC forever and ever. Thank you.